Ghost and supernatural stories by ghostly echoes retold. It started with whispers in the dark. I was a traveling nurse back in 2012, assigned to a rural hospital in West Virginia. The place had been understaffed for months, and they were desperate for hands. It didn't take long before I heard the stories. Staff fainting in the break room, nightmares that didn't stop, and a particular patient room that no one wanted to enter. Room 217. The first night I worked, I brushed it off as exhaustion. After all, we were dealing with an outbreak of HMPV, a respiratory virus that claimed the lives of several patients in that very hospital. Many were elderly or already sick, but the virus didn't discriminate. Its victims had died gasping for air, a fact I couldn't shake as I made my rounds that evening. It was just after 2 a.m. when I first noticed it. I had entered room 217 to restock supplies, only to feel a sudden heaviness pressing against my chest. The air was thick, stifling, as though someone had turned off the oxygen in the room. My throat tightened, and for a moment I couldn't breathe. A faint, suffocating voice seemed to echo around me, whispering, "Help me, please." It sounded so human, so desperate. I backed out of the room and hurried down the hall, trying to convince myself it was just my imagination. The second incident happened to Dr. Hall, one of the more skeptical physicians. He was called in to examine a patient in room 217, but stormed out within minutes, pale and shaking. Later, he confided to a few of us that he'd heard someone calling his name, clear as day, but no one else was in the room. "It was like they were right behind me," he muttered, refusing to meet anyone's eyes. But when I turned, there was nothing. Over the weeks, the experiences escalated. One nurse, Emily, began having vivid nightmares of patients clawing at her, their faces pale and lips blue. She'd wake up gasping for air, her chest tight as though something invisible were crushing her. Another staff member, a janitor, claimed he saw a shadowy figure standing at the edge of room 217 during his night shift. When he approached, the figure vanished, leaving behind a faint but unmistakable scent of disinfectant, exactly what they used to clean after deaths. But the most terrifying incident happened to me during a double shift. Exhausted, I had dozed off for a few minutes in the on-call room when I was jolted awake by a dream so vivid it felt real. In it, I was in room 217, surrounded by patients I had never seen before. They were all gasping, clutching at their throats, their eyes wide with terror. One of them, a young girl no older than 10, locked eyes with me and whispered, "You have to help us." Her voice was soft but choked, as though she were trying to speak through water. I woke up drenched in sweat, my own breathing laboured, only to find faint bruises around my neck. I wasn't the only one affected. Staff began calling in sick, unwilling to work the night shift. One nurse even quit after claiming she felt an unseen hand grip her wrist while administering medication in room 217. The hospital administration dismissed it all as mass hysteria, but we knew better. One night, I decided to confront it. Armed with nothing but my nerves, I entered room 217 just after midnight. The air was icy, far colder than the rest of the hospital. I stood there waiting until I heard it, a ragged, choked cry. "Help me? Why didn't you save me?" The voice was louder this time, filled with anguish. Suddenly, the door slammed shut behind me, and the lights flickered. I couldn't move. The sensation of hands, cold and desperate, wrapped around my throat. Just as quickly as it started, it stopped, leaving me gasping on the floor. The next morning, I found out something chilling. Room 217 had been where most of the HMPV deaths occurred during the outbreak. Patients who died there had reportedly begged for help with their final breaths, many of them succumbing alone and frightened. The staff began to wonder if the voices we heard were echoes of their last moments. Eventually, the hospital closed off room 217, claiming it was due to renovations. But we knew the truth. Even now, years later, I can't forget the desperate voices, the icy air, and the unshakable feeling that something or someone was still trapped there crying out for help. As for the historical fact, it's said that during pandemics, hospitals often become hotspots for spiritual unrest, with the collective trauma of patients imprinting itself on the environment. In the case of HMPV deaths in West Virginia and Idaho, reports of hauntings like ours surfaced in at least 3 other facilities. Coincidence? Maybe. but I'll never forget room 217. If this chilling tale gave you goosebumps, don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications for more stories like this. Thank you for tuning in to Ghostly Echoes. Until next time,